So this looks pretty solid. Aside from, I think I expected us to open lower. Let me just double check on that. Yeah, I expected us to open lower, so we didn't open lower. We opened higher. It was pretty tricky on the monthly. This ruin kind of like pulling away from this ruin, but I did indicate that there could be a high, another high here at the end of the month, and looks like that ended up being the case. This would be a trade opportunity. I'm gonna just enter in another low here because I feel like there's another prominent low. It may not be a lowest low. But there's another prominent low in here that's really standing. It might be a lowest low. Starting to pick up on that as a possibility. I don't think I did that in when I predicted the July reading. Pretty sure I didn't sense it the same way I do now. And the reason why I think this may not be a lowest low, like at first when I did the prediction, I'm pretty sure I said this is most likely location of the lowest low. I'm not so sure about that. This might be the lowest location here on the morning of the 6th. And the reason why I say that is because we end near highs. I mean, the 26th we have the luxury card, which is very similar energy to the love card. Um, and the love card is kind of like in the theme position is usually like a peak kind of topping out uh, type of chart pattern, and so you could say that combined with the fact that we have a strong possible highest high correlation here on the 31st. It's really close to this, so we might see a highest high in there. Hey, Katharkian. So you opened a trade in both directions for the S&P. Um, was so? Are we talking about options, Karthikeyan? You talking about options? Like you open up a straddle or a strangle? Yes, options. Okay, so when do they expire? And strike prices if you got those handy. I'd say this was one of my least accurate June 1 monthly S&P predictions. It was still pretty solid, but one of my least accurate. We were way too late on the first high. We did indicate that there would be a second high probably at the end of the month. So not awful, but just compared to what I'm used to seeing for the S&P 500, I've been doing it so long. Usually I'm right on point every time. Um, without knowing the strike prices or the expirations, I would say that you definitely want to stay. You don't want to stay in a short position long. Even long puts is still considered a short position. So what I would look to do. Oh, here we go. 440 and 446 calls expiring in the 5th of July. Ooh. Oh. Okay. So so you probably have an opportunity. The calls are 446 calls. Yeah, so I would probably get out of those calls, being that they're out of the money and they're near expiration. I would probably get out of those calls on Monday towards the end of the day, if that's possible to do, if there's an opportunity there. If you don't see like an opportunity to take a profit there, you might consider rolling them out, but it would make more sense to close them and then open up a long position here around the cusp of the 5th, 6th, probably the morning of the 6th. I would close a short position on the morning of the 6th. Another possible location you might be able to close the long position is on the 5th, but if you want to hold the long position longer than the 5th and you don't really see the profit that you're expecting here on the 3rd, I would say you want to roll that expiration out probably until the 14th, and I would close out of that long position on the 10th with an expiration on the 14th. But the short position, I would look to get out of that on the 6th early in the morning. Oh right, you're gonna need to change that. So they expire on the 5th. Yikes. So as far as a short position, you're probably going to want to move that short position as well. I don't see a great opportunity to get out of that short position until the 6th. So on Monday, when you have opportunity, you probably want to roll that position out. On the morning of the 6th, that makes sense to close short positions and open long positions. Hey Conrad, do I think there's that we're going to be hanging around the same price on Monday, July 3rd, or do we do as we did today, or do you think we're going to have a bit of a sell off on Monday? Um, I think Monday's mixed. We probably have a peak towards the early. I mean, it's a half day. Keep that in mind. It's a half day, so it's a quick day. I think we probably have a sideways fluctuating rally into like maybe the last couple of hours of trading, and then we might have a sell off there. It's interesting on the 5th. I'm getting kind of mixed signals like I did here on the morning of on the cusp of the 29th, 30th, where I've got these two kind of like counteracting ruins playing against each other. There's a similar thing going on here on the 5th, 6th. So I think we probably do a lot of sideways rotation on the 5th with the peak at the end of the day. And then we gap down on the 6th, on the morning of the 6th. So we probably hang out kind of where we are. Let me take a look at the dailies. Yeah, I think we probably hang out near these tops, and the reason being is that this is kind of like a the Princess of Swords is one of those like flat kind of relative cards. There's a lot of price change in the Prince of Swords, but my sense is that it's kind of like a flat situation. We're moving sideways. It's also with the Ace of Swords energy here at the beginning of the day. I think somehow I didn't mark that off. Left that out. Interesting. So looking at it from a daily standpoint, definitely looks more decline-y. Like we probably open around the same price level as the high and then sell off pretty notably into the end of the day there. With a low probably between 10 and 11, like around 10:30 probably, but if not there, then probably later into the day. This is kind of mixed in the last hour. Hey, Vinya Priya. Any idea on NVIDIA? I opened to strangle 450s and 400s. What do I got for NVIDIA? I think I have a 1 year for NVIDIA. Hopefully it's been done. It's not been done. It's not been marked up. Well, so July is looking pretty mixed for Nvidia. I don't have like a marked up version of this reading. I did this reading, started this reading a long time ago for Nvidia, but I never came back to finish it. It was done back on December 20th of 2022. Let's see how it stacks up against what's actually transpired. And an SPC went the opposite direction of what I expected today, which is a little annoying, but I'm still pretty bullish on SPC. I wouldn't worry about it overall. Interesting. So this obviously this really big move pushing the upper end of a range higher at the end of May transpired. That's looking pretty solid right here. And then we have a bit of a move to the downside in early June. Opportunity to open up a long position around the low. Pop and retracement kind of move around the high, and then at the end of the month of June, we should have this big move to the upside out of oversold territory, or maybe not out of oversold territory, just a big move higher. Possibly a peak or crest in like the third week of July for Nvidia. It's really hard to determine exactly where highs and lows are going to be without doing the markup, which takes several hours, but I think probably what you'll have when do those Nvidia when does the Nvidia options expire? When's your expiration on? Oh, expiration is July 14th. So you probably want to exit. You're going to have opportunity to exit out of the long position in early July around a key resistance level on a multi-day kind of scale, and volume or volatility will kind of flatten out around that resistance level. That's where you want to exit the long, and then the short position, if you can roll that out a little bit into like maybe August expiration, you're going to see a lot of price change to the downside as we leave towards the end of July, moving into August. That's Nvidia. Will Amazon hit 115 by Thursday? Oh, I don't have one for today. Let's see. Let me look at the 1 year actually. I got a yes for that, B. It does look like it's possible based on the July cluster as well. Looks like we're kind of up at the upper end of a range where we're failing to break through resistance and we're moving kind of sideways along a July high. So we're probably close to a high, if not at a high. There should be a trough here, and then we towards the end of the month or on the cusp of July, August, there should be a highest high in Amazon. But there's going to be a little bit of a pullback here in early July, early to mid July. What day did they expire, be those puts? The Eight of Wands at the end of the day on the layout for July 3rd, does that indicate a higher high in the morning for the 5th? I don't think it's going to be a higher high, no. I think it's just an end of the day kind of pop to the upside. It might not even take place because it's kind of a funky reading with the end of the day canceled out, and then this card was still flipped for whatever reason. It's a little strange. It may not even transpire that move, but no, we should open to the downside. You're welcome, Priya. Um, it's sort of correlated, Conrad. Is the unicursal on the Nvidia May cluster on the 1 year correlated to the big gap up at the end of May? So you're asking about, where did it go? So this big gap here and the unicursal, where did it go? Oh, did I close it? All right, so you're talking about the unicursal here that's correlated to the low in in the May cluster, which is this cluster right here. Now, the big move to the upside is this wealth card and this Aeon card. The unicursal is indicating that this price level right here is a price level that we're going to break through to the downside in the next major decline that we have for the stock. There's a big gap there, so that would make sense that this would be a unicursal. Why that's in blue, I'm not really sure. Let's change that. Hey, Robert. As far as I know, that's a no. No ARB has been purchased for the 1 year. Very much depressed in BA. Bought 210 calls last week, expiring July 7th. How will it play on Monday? How will Boeing play on Monday? Are you Sagittarius, Conrad? I feel like you're Sagittarius, or you have a lot of Sagittarius energy. All right, so how will BA play out on Monday? Let's see here. So Monday looks like a sideways rotation along key support with a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of sideways rotation, revisiting a support level that we recently met once before as an opportunity. Wednesday looks pretty bullish. The rest of the week is looking pretty bullish. There's a drop on Thursday towards like the end of the day probably, but the remainder of the week for the most part is looking bullish. It's just on Monday it's looking like we revisit a support level. That was for Boeing. There you go. Sagittarius moon makes sense. And the Virgo sun too would make sense, yeah. All right, my friends, I'm going to roll with that. As always, thanks for watching. Sorry I got on so late. My ADD on this Friday, just like I totally lost track of time. But I'm going to roll. I got a lot of editing to do for August. We're a little behind there, so all of it's recorded. It just needs to be edited, and we're trying to edit better. But I don't know if I can do it, guys. It's a lot of extra work involved, and we just don't have the manpower. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. That'll help us get the manpower. Things like following the rule of karma. Which you do so on our website, Tarot for Traders, right here under the Resources tab, where we ask that you donate 5% of the profits from this information forward to one of these charities, 5% of the profits back to the channel here at one of these links. That's what allows us to do things like edit content better with an extra team member, things like that, grow the channel better because we have access to a team member for SEO. Right now we need those things. We don't have those things. In order for us to get those things, we need more subscribers and we need people following the rule of karma. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you guys on Monday.